Welcome to the first episode, pilot episode of the Junkers podcast. This is
brand new.
Yeah, this is brand new. This is where we talk about everything regarding movies, games, technology.
Just media in general.
Media and, everything. So what we got for you guys today is a list of our top 5 movies of the decade. We've kind of already gone through and kind of got a consensus of 5 movies to talk about, and maybe a couple of worst ones too. We'll get around to those hopefully by the end of the podcast.
Also our number 5 is all going to be we're all going to talk about our number 5s individually.
Oh,
Yeah, because the top 4s are pretty much all the same.
Yeah.
So which ones are we going to talk about first? Top 1?
Everybody. I guess everybody has the same top.
Top one is pretty,
top 1 and 2 are exactly the same, pretty much, just flipped.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha. Mine is Blade Runner 2049.
Blade Runner 2049.
Mine was Interstellar.
Okay.
All right. So we're
So-
going to talk about Blade Runner 2049
Yeah,
first.
obviously.
it was pretty good. Next.
Interstellar. No,
Goddamn, dude.
Where do we
so much
start?
to talk about.
actually, let's talk about the fact that you didn't even like it whenever you actually walked out.
Oh,
of the
that's
theater.
right.
That's right. I remember.
We got into a
You were
30-minute
so
argument
mad.
about it too.
Dude, you know what? It was crazy is that I kind of look back. I mean, I looked back that night actually, and it was I actually didn't like this movie the first time I saw it. The thing is, I actually did like it, but I was kind of in denial
That it was better than the first one.
No, it's not even the fact that it's better than the original, but even the fact that it was on par with the original. Because I remember whenever we were watching the trailers, we were watching everything, all the marketing material building up to the actual movie. I mean, it had shitty music for the most part. It had fucking just all the tropes.
Pretty mediocre.
Yeah,
that
it was shot digitally, which kind of just in general, me and you.
Yeah, I had that Inception trailer,
that shit, and it was just not really.
The Blanc shit was cool back in the beginning of the decade.
Yeah.
Now if you do it now, it's so outplayed.
Yeah.
They did I remember the trailers. Trailers were very underwhelming.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wanted to actually like it from the trailers, but then I was I think
the first trailer was especially pretty bad, but the second trailer was the second trailer was really good. But then the music wasn't really that great. It wasn't really reflective of the music in the actual movie, which was fucking awesome. Yeah. But I didn't really start having a lot of faith in the movie until I actually watched the short films that were Denis Villeneuve's Prince.
Way lower quality.
Well, the one that was they were, but I remember there was one that actually had what's his name? Jared Leto's character. What the fuck is his name?
What did you have to mention?
It's not Wallace, is it? Our top movies of the decade. Can't remember who the fuck's in it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but anyway, it was Jared Leto's character. He it was the short film that he played in, and he fucking that fucking short film was badass. I had really good acting. It kind of showed you how good of an actor, how good his performance was actually going to be in the movie, and I was pretty blown away. I was okay, actually, it made me I remember watching that short film and I was okay, actually, I think he could have played a really good Joker in Suicide Squad, but he was just misdirected. I could tell right away.
Yeah. Everything about that Joker was just way off.
It was put off right.
It was Wallace. It was Wallace. That was his name.
Wallace,
See, that's exactly what I just said.
I thought you said Walter.
No, I said Wallace.
I remember walking into the movie and just having that kind of negative connotation with him that he'd already come off the Joker and everybody fucking hated it.
Yeah.
I was dude, this guy is the kind of the main villain of the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I saw the movie. I was oh, this guy is fucking great.
Yeah.
He was
I already knew he was
not a
gonna be
bad
good.
actor.
No, he's not. And I actually thought he was going to be shit, just judging from Joker. But then I saw that short film, and then I was okay, this is his acting is fucking awesome. Yeah. And then there was that anime short film that came out from the studio of or the director of Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah. That's right.
Kenji Kamiyama, I think was his name was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that short film was fucking awesome. That literally was kind of another Ghost in the Shell type of anime, And it's it was just a short film, and they fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
and it was kind of a precursor to the actual story of the movie, about the blackout. Yep. It was literally just the making of that whole that kind of terrorist incident to some degree, Yeah. And so it just kind of laid the groundwork for the actual story, the backstory of the movie.
Yeah, I never watched
I remember,
those.
like, I saw the
They should
movie
check
and I
them
was
out.
like, in
Yeah,
disbelief. I remember I
awesome.
was just like nitpicking the fuck out of it. I was
So-
like, this thing and this thing. I remember, like,
Do you remember any specific like things that were
I
disappointing?
remember, like, just like thinking that they didn't expand it enough. But then in hindsight, that sounds ridiculous because they actually expanded it a shitload.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I thought that they focused on, like, things that I, didn't really care about. I was like, what the fuck? There's, like, the android or the replicants are like, they're already, like, out in space on their colonies and fucking taking over, like, other worlds. And, like, we're focused in here on this little story and L.A. and fucking 2049. It's like, I thought they would expand more than that. But I was like, dude, of course that's what it would be.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was being stupid and
it's basically what Blade Runner was all about. It's just that it's focused.
Like, I felt like if they were to have done what I, was nitpicking, that it would have actually been a shittier fucking
I remember
movie.
there was like a straight up debate after, like, we were just in the parking lot for
I
like
know.
30
I
minutes.
think the thing is, I feel like that's the perfect amount of like nostalgia in a movie, and then also like just new material. It's like it feels like a new movie. It does not even feel like. If you watch that movie, you're like, you don't even feel the nostalgia. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
I
there's
actually think that was kind of the main complaint that I had, is that it wasn't noir.
a little bit too new. Like
it
didn't rely.
It wasn't noir. It didn't respect the feeling of the original.
Which is weird because some of the details on there were very like you still see like just regular TV monitors that, like, from the 80s and stuff, like, in that universe.
But like one of the main things I liked about it though was that, like, the entire movie, you're watching it and you're thinking, like, they really trick you into believing that that Officer K is Harrison Ford's son, Rick Deckard, and he it's like it doesn't even pose the question of, like, is Rick Deckard a replicant himself? It just, like, it more focuses on, like, who is this? Is his offspring?
Definitely.
Yeah, actually, I remember, like, figuring that out, like, thinking that early in the movie. It's pretty much a scene whenever he's at the tree. It kind of like misleads you right off the bat, and you're like, oh yeah, wait, this I wonder if, like, he's the son.
Well, but even when you're doing that, you're like, it's too easy.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
It was too easy to think that he was the son.
And it gets to a point to where you're like,
that's because it sells it to you. It sells it the whole movie. But the whole time I was watching, I'm just like, it's too easy. It cannot be in. But there's like
the thing is, for me, it was like, I thought it was like, man, is it really that easy, man? Did I really figure it out that soon?
Like, it would have been like I would have knocked some points off if he really was his son.
Yeah,
right.
No, for sure.
Because
I think it would have been like way too, that probably would have, like, not even been on my top 10 if
it was. It's kind of like remember when fucking Batman Arkham City came out. When it had the fucking Arkham Knight. I knew exactly who it was gonna. They played up this entire thing the whole time, like, who is this? Who is it? And it's like, I know exactly who this is gonna be, and I'm gonna play it and get all the way through, and he finally reveals who it is, and it's Jason Todd. And I just got mad. I turned off the game and walked away because I was just like, I was really hoping they weren't gonna sell me this same story.
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, that movie was so fucking different than the original Blade Runner, the story structure of it.
Yeah.
You have, like, the new Star Wars movies. A lot of people say that the new trilogy is, like, heavily, like, inspired by the original.
Oh,
where it's
of
like,
course
especially, like, The Force Awakens.
Force Awakens
like
was New Hope.
Yeah,
What
it's New Hope.
Yeah.
It, like, borrowed way too much from that.
It even has a Death Star and shit.
Yeah, I know. It's, like, literally fucking, like, way
But
too
I mean, that's why it was.
That's the thing, dude. It's
That's
like,
why it made it good,
whenever
though.
we saw Force Awakens in the theater, I liked Force Awakens, and I remember watching Blade Runner in the theater, and I was like, initially hoping that they would kind of like respect the source material a little bit more. But the more I thought about it, I mean, it literally only took me, like, less than a night, and I was like, dude, like, actually, I'm really glad that they didn't, like, go with the same exact style, the same storytelling, the same, just the same feel of that movie. And they actually went and they freaking, like, they just did everything new.
How many movies actually did that to you?
What?
Like, you hated it at first, but then
No, this is the only one ever. Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't hate it. I mean, obviously, it's impossible to actually hate the freaking climax of that movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like when they're at the seawall.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I remember seeing that that climax, and I was like, holy shit, I've never fucking seen a movie like this before.
Yeah.
Like, it's just,
It's
you never just seen a fucking climax like that fucking crazy.
Yeah, the aesthetics
shit, you know?
and like the music and just everything about that scene is just so.
And I think seeing it in
feels
Dolby
good.
really,
Yeah, dude, it was fucking awesome.
I don't
man.
think it would have been any. I think we would have been underwhelmed if we didn't see it in Dolby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dolby fucking definitely helped out his shit.
It still would have been great to see, but I don't think we
Right.
would have gotten as much of an impact out of it the first time.
You know what?
seeing it
You're
in
probably
Dolby.
right because
I believe so too.
yeah, dude, I had this like box. Like I bought a chicken sandwich, right? And it came in this box. Finished it, and like I think like there was like these flaps, and I think they acted as some sort of receiver. So like sometimes I would actually hear the sound of the movie emanating from the actual fucking box.
Damn, dude,
Like-
I gotta buy that box. They didn't have a
I'll be taking a chicken sandwich box to every movie now.
Holy
Like,
shit,
I actually
dude.
don't think that it's like, just because it was so fucking like that Dolby like sold the movie. Because I've seen a ton of movies in Dolby,
Sure.
and none of them ever made me feel like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Actually, the thing is, the first
Yeah.
movie that I saw
Yeah.
in Dolby wasn't even Blade Runner. It was Alien. What is it?
Covenant.
Yeah, and like that movie had. I remember it's like, oh, the sound is really good, but like. Just that's whole part of the movie. Like that's
Right,
why,
but
that's why the fucking movie is so
the
good.
sound
There's
design
also
was
one of
incredible.
The sound design too.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
actually,
sound
yeah,
design
yeah,
was
yeah.
top notch, but it being in Dolby was
Yeah,
to
the
have
thing is,
that
yeah.
accented that way.
Yeah. So it's like it kind of just shows how fucking well it was mastered, you know. So it's like it's part of the fucking movie process, you know. So it's like, that's why it was like so fucking good. Yeah, I don't know, man. This fucking movie was just definitely.
Oh, well, obviously Roger Deakins too. You have to think about the freaking. Okay, man. There's so many elements about this movie. Fuck. I mean, I feel like I could just like go on about it all fucking day. But like the cinematography by Roger Deakins. I mean, just the way it's freaking. The compositions in this movie. Every single shot is like
Perfect.
Perfect. It's like just striking.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
oh shit. Like
Definitely.
even just like a simple scene of him, like, that one scene where he's like leaning over and he's talking to this one dude who's bald and he's like kind of looks like androidish.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a yellow kind
Yeah,
of.
yeah. I remember. Yeah.
Right.
I remember even that. It's like, dude, looks amazing. Like,
It's
I don't know.
kind of a simple like shot, but it was like just how much effort went into like actually composing it, like lighting it,
Yeah.
the sound, the fucking
The atmosphere of it,
yeah,
the
the
fucking
acting, and
everything.
just yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it
wow.
definitely complemented the pacing because it's this movie really is sort of a slow burn. Wasn't it like 3 hours or something like that?
Almost.
Oh, just about 3 hours.
Yeah, probably
But like,
2.5 maybe.
I swear, like it didn't feel like it for me because like even though like it was the pacing was a little bit slower. Everything that surrounded it like complemented in a way that like really carried it to the point where it was able to it allowed it to be that long.
Yeah. Like I feel like the pacing was. I mean, for me, it actually it did feel slow. Like I remember, especially upon the second and third watch in the theater, like I felt like, okay, this movie is like pretty long.
You saw it a third time in the theater?
Yeah, I did. And
Actually, I saw it 4 times. I thought we saw it.
yeah,
I think we saw it
did.
4 times.
You did. I saw 3.
Okay.
And then,
Goddamn.
Yeah, and then
You're just
Yeah, I saw it.
you're just throwing them money, aren't you?
I saw it 3 times in Dolby, and then I saw it another time in just regular 4K.
Yeah,
But we
Mr.
saw it literally the last day it came out in 4K.
Mr. Moneybags over here and going
Yeah.
on the news.
Oh,
dude,
by
it
the
was that
way,
good, dude.
hey guys, another thing that we're gonna have on this podcast is randomly people leaving to take a whiz. So I'm gonna do that real quick.
Okay.
I don't think we had to
I
just
was
show
gonna-
attention to it, but whatever.
Come on, why don't you just take a piss right here, dude? Let's all see it, dude. See what you got, man.
I would prefer not to see that.
I was
Thank
gonna
you.
hold it all the way, but knowing that the restriction is lifted, okay, I'll probably
All
go
right.
after it.
So we probably need to move on a little bit faster because we've already been talking about Blade Runner for
Sure.
15 minutes.
Oh
So
shit! Okay. Yeah.
it was a badass movie, but we should probably wait. We should talk about it until Sean gets back.
Sure.
So
All right.
what else is badass about this movie?
Let's
Everything.
see.
I don't know. We have. I don't know. I just feel like I like how the story structure of it doesn't really model itself off of the original at all.
Right.
Like, it's
Like
just,
it kept the setting, it kept some character, it kept it is a actual progression of story.
Yeah, I
but
feel like
it's so
it was-
oddly enough, it still felt like a Blade Runner movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it
it had
felt
that
like a Blade
sci-fi
Runner
element
movie.
that
Yeah,
was,
you
like,
obviously
really-
like feel like they're it's in the same universe, and it does feel like it's 30 or so years later. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
So
Like it's just it feels like a complete continuation
yeah,
of a story 30 years onward.
yeah, it's like totally believable, and it's just as epic of a story.
It doesn't
as,
feel
like, the original.
doesn't feel forced like a 30-year.
Yeah, isn't that
sequel.
crazy that this fucking movie actually like takes place like the exact amount of years almost as like the as the prequel did. You know,
Yeah.
like that one came out 30 years before. This one actually is like 30 years after that. But in the same, it's like a future timeline.
Yeah.
It actually feels like the same universe 30 years later. You know.
Because of that.
You know, this is only it's going to be like the only future movie we really got to look forward to in the fuure. Like there's
I guess there's Ghost in the Shell too, but
that doesn't count. It's not a classic movie.
Right.
like like Back to the Future.
The original is, but not
Right.
this new one. Yeah. This
Yeah,
new
I feel
one.
No. Are you talking about Blade Runner?
I'm talking about
Ghost
Ghost in the Shell.
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh no, we're not even talking about that. That's not even what I'm saying. But I'm saying like Back to the Future, like when it turned like 2019 to like whatever, we're all like, oh, this is the year we're all supposed to have all this crap. You know?
Even
the fire cars and whatnot.
Same thing with Blade Runner.
Akira also is another one that takes place in 2019 actually. So,
Yeah.
But that's intriguing to me is that like we actually got to 2019. We don't have Blade Runner, but somehow the universe in which that takes place in still seems like it's 30 years ahead of that.
Yeah,
period.
that way it respects the source material.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now but like, what I'm saying is like now 2049 is the only future movie we have to look forward to see where our technology is in comparison to in the movie.
Yeah.
Like with like Back to the Future and the original Blade Runner, like we still our technology is definitely like really increased. Like it doesn't look as absurd as it does in those movies, but we still have basically those kind of technologies, which is crazy.
Yeah, but
we just don't dress like.
I was just saying that like I felt like Akira is 2019, so we don't have that anymore. Ghost in the Shell, I forgot what year that was, but I know it is still in the future, and it's pretty pretty late in this century, I think.
Metal Gear Solid 4, 2014.
Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Geckos and shit. But
Okay, I think we should move
on.
on from Blade Runner.
Let's talk about the fucking score though. I just feel like
it was the best score of like the
I
decade.
mean,
Decade, yeah.
man.
Actually, I don't
Yeah.
even like. There's
not-
Inception was good.
Inception
This
is
one-
good. I feel like those two are really debatable. These two movies are debatable, really.
Yeah.
I had a really hard time going in between Inception and Blade Runner 2049. Like I literally was going in between, and I finally decided. I had to sit there and think about like, okay, how did I actually feel whenever I walked out of each movie, you know? And how much did it actually impact me? How much later did I buy the Blu-ray? How much merchandise did I buy? How much fucking, how much of my time thinking about it, it was like Inception, I liked it a ton, but like Blade Runner 2049, I mean, I bought the vinyl record, I bought the fucking Blu-ray first day it came out. I was thinking about it. I mean, we bought the fucking book with the making of the Art and Soul of Blade Runner.
Yeah, that's definitely the movie that I've seen the most in the theater, and it's
how many times we saw it too? Is it
probably the soundtrack one. I've listened to.
We bought the
Interstellar
soundtrack on vinyl.
Yeah, I mean,
we bought two
yeah.
copies even.
It's,
And you guys got the 70mm print stock, didn't you?
No, not for that one. No,
You got one for Interstellar.
Oh, Interstellar.
Yeah, Interstellar.
we have cells of it.
The cells, yeah, that's what I meant,
Not
yeah.
an actual stock. Yeah, that would be so much money. But we have some 70mm IMAX film cells of Interstellar. But
I think that's a good segue into Interstellar because we've already been talking about Blade Runner for 20 minutes.
okay,
So,
all right. So
number 2 is Interstellar. So this fucking movie was.
I mean, that's
fucking
my
awesome.
number one, but
damn.
whatever.
Yeah,
Nobody
this is
really cares about my
probably-
feelings, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's actually my number 3.
it's probably my number 2. I remember this movie just. I don't know. I mean, I remember walking out of the theater. There's very few times I've ever walked out of the theater with like hyping a movie that much.
Yeah.
And it just completely lived up to the hype. Because,
Yeah.
like I remember we went to the movie. We saw it in a group. We actually traveled to Austin to watch it in 70mm, an IMAX 70mm.
I didn't get to see it in 70mm. That would
Dude,
have.
it's literally the best
Guaranteed.
theatrical one.
Yeah,
I think
if that
2000.
movie was your number one, then goddamn, dude, this movie would have made your fucking all-time high if you saw it on IMAX 70mm.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, dude, IMAX 70mm is the ultimate format to watch any fucking movie in. And with him shooting so much of it in IMAX 70mm and seeing it just like, dude, I'm telling you, this freaking format is like so insanely clear and like big. It's insane. But, like we basically saw it in a museum.
Yeah, we did.
And they had an insanely big screen. It was projected on the actual film. I mean, there was a couple of scenes where I remember seeing the dust and the hair is kind of caught on.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I don't like about like film projection is that you kind of get distracted with the little things like that. But overall, the amount of resolution you get, the contrast, and I mean, I guess now it's like with LED screens, it's better contrast, of course. But like, I don't know. It's just like
the resolution.
The resolution is just fucking.
The resolution is out of this.
I mean, it's kind of crazy just seeing something because, like, you see, like, every time I watch a movie in digital, except for Dolby, but like when I watch a movie in IMAX, like I always see pixels, like every time, especially when I see it in like in regular 4K, like you just see the pixels. I'm just like, dude, that's like just makes me feel like I'm watching it at home or some shit, you know? But whenever you see a movie projected in a format where it's like filmed in an analog way, where it's, there's no horizontal and vertical resolution, it's just completely organic. Like every frame is a different like resolution, you know? So it's like just, changing every second, you know?
Like when we went and saw Hateful Eight.
Yeah, so it's like basically, you see...
But even more so.
Yeah, because it's actually a lot higher resolution in IMAX 70mm.
IMAX 70mm is different from 70.
Yeah.
And even if it's, Ultra Panavision or whatever, it's like, IMAX 70mm is the gold standard of like...
resolution, for sure.
Yeah, but the Ultra Panavision was like, it was nice because it was good to see a fucking movie again and just, projected.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than digital.
It was definitely a very cinematic, but it was also interesting that it was, we even had like an intermission.
Yeah. We went out and we smoked and we talked about what the fuck we thought was going on.
I never went through an intermission in my life before. Yeah. It was crazy.
But we're not talking about that movie.
No, we're not.
Yeah. So
I just remember watching Interstellar the first time. I literally went out and like went back in for a second watch it. I walked out with the biggest smile on my face. It went right back out. I'm just like, where's the next theater? I'm just going to kind of just sneak right back.
Yeah, I know. We probably would have done the same thing if we were in an actual theater, but we were in a museum, so we just had to leave and we had to go back to Houston, and we literally just drove there that day, watched the movie, and drove back the same day. Yeah. So it's like a fucking, 3-hour drive or something?
I mean, the 3-hour drive home, we were just talking about the movie the entire fucking time because it was so good, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie is so impactful. There's so many things about that fucking movie that is, oh my god.
It's so big, but they made it so human.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of, like, human, like, you got these beings that are, us in the future that have crossed into the fifth dimension, but yet you have a story that's just, so simple as a dad that wants to go home to his kids.
It's kind of crazy because I feel like maybe his inspiration for that idea was, like, the aliens in 2001, because whenever they put the monoliths on the Earth and then the moon, they were actually like physical 3-dimensional beings. But that by the time we actually like found their civilization, which is like the monolith on Jupiter, like that's like whenever they became like 5th dimensional beings or whatever. And I feel like that's kind of what the humans in Interstellar actually ended up becoming. It's like, basically we just kind of transcended into like
the next
dimension, It's like we have like access to universal information, we just like,
and when you're that
we
close,
place our own monoliths on other planets.
But I mean, like it just makes sense, you get so to get to where they needed to go, like they got all that information about being inside the black hole, so that just shot humanity forward probably about a good 1,000 years just with that information alone. And
man, that fucking wormhole scene was so fucking crazy.
It was good.
I remember seeing the trailers for that fucking movie, like maybe about like 6 months before it came out, and I saw that they had this one trailer. I think it was the second trailer that came out, and it was they introduced the wormhole, and it looked like
they introduced it in the first trailer.
No, well, the first full trailer. Yeah. And I remember seeing that fucking...
Dude, I remember actually seeing that in the theater, and people were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, whenever you enter it and then like come back out of it, the transition from like being inside the wormhole and like coming out was just so like abstract and out there. That was like...
Yeah, really I remember kind of like...
Right, it wasn't
like basically
literally bending time and space.
Right,
it's just such a fucking perfect representation of that idea.
Yeah,
it's just put in a fucking like 3-dimensional space.
Way better than like your standard Star Trek, like then you come out of an actual wormhole.
Well, the crazy thing is about this movie is that it was based off of the physics, the theoretical physics of this theoretical physicist.
Yeah, they say it's like probably the most scientific way to put a wormhole.
Yeah,
And
well, I mean, it
Also,
was
the representation of the black hole.
the black hole.
I've never seen
the
it.
wormhole.
Yeah, I've never actually seen a black hole represented in that way. But
It's Kip Thorne. That's who it was.
Kip Thorne, that's who it was.
Yeah, it just made so much sense the way that it bends light. You can actually see what's behind the black hole.
Yeah, in it, you know, what I'm
And
saying?
in it,
like,
yeah.
like just freaking. I mean, I remember that one scene where like he starts like going into the black hole. Like he abandons what's her name, Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway's character.
and then he just like delves into it, and it's like, oh shit, like, and then it just starts getting more quiet. And then it's just like you start seeing.
It starts getting violent and shit, you know.
Yeah. It's just like all this.
No,
fucking, like,
you already
debris
accept.
starts hitting this shit, but it's like almost like particles. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
You
it's
already
just
accept that he's
particles whipping around inside.
Yeah.
It's probably like whipping around the inside, and
Man, the fucking
Like,
way
you
that
almost-
they got those shots were so fucking
Yeah.
crazy too. Like with the freaking, they were just like they
They
literally
did, like,
just like
three-
had an IMAX camera on the ground shooting completely straight upwards, and they just had like this black fucking backdrop, and they were just dropping like all sorts of different particles
On the
from
ship?
way up, and they just started dropping them towards the camera.
Oh,
Like
that's cool.
sand,
Yeah.
and they just like composited that on top of like this freaking shot that they had of the actual spacecraft, and it was like hitting the fucking spacecraft. I don't know, man.
That's actually how they did the fucking sparks. Like whenever they on Dunkirk.
Yeah.
Like whenever they have like they mounted it onto the planes.
Yeah.
Like they actually shot it, and they shot the sparks on the planes like in a different shot where it's like, and they just composited that. Like
I know.
and then so it's basically it looks 100% real because
Yeah.
it is real.
Yeah.
But it's like just two shots composited on top of each other, and it's like so
Yeah, but like I remember like seeing that show, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like it's so abstract.
But
Yeah.
it's the same
intriguing.
thing. It's the same thing with every Christopher Nolan trailer when you first see it. When they first released that, at least the first one. Like I remember seeing the Inception trailer in, like what was it? You know what? I think it was actually Pineapple Express. I saw that they played.
It might have been actually.
They played the Joseph Gordon-Levitt scene where they're like in the rotating hallway,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like at the no gravity, and they literally just played that scene. And when me and Ty were seeing it, we were just sitting there going, "What the fuck is happening?"
Right.
it's just like he's just fighting this dude and he's like anti-gravity hallway, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
just cuts out and goes
Wait,
Inception.
are we talking about Inception now? Or number 3?
I don't know.
I
We haven't talked about Interstellar like for 10 minutes yet, so we
Okay,
gotta talk
so
about that movie.
Yeah.
Get one on the
I know, we
Well,
just-
whenever he was going into the black hole, like I just didn't know, like I just kind of accepted he was going to die for like a second,
Yeah.
and it's like then you see these cubes coming up from like below the surface, like
Yeah.
what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what the
It's
fuck?
like a grid of sorts and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's like
it's
literally
basically just-
3-dimensional or 4-dimensional space.
Like that
Like
guy, that was his time to actually play around and like.
Yeah, the thing is, like, even before this movie came out, I remember some theoretical physicist, I forgot which one, but like they were saying, I think it might have been Neil deGrasse Tyson actually, but he was saying that, basically whenever as far as film goes and narrative like movies go, it's like a black hole is kind of like up to like artistic expression, like whatever you want to fucking do with it, it's kind of up in the air because we don't fucking know
Right.
what the fuck it. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you were to go into a black hole, you would, I guess, die because you would just completely
Yeah, I'm pretty
every
sure
atom
you'd
would
die.
deteriorate. But like,
Yeah, it's
you
called
know,
spaghettification.
yeah, but
I
like,
thought you would
the
get
thing is,
crushed
we
down
actually
to
like
this-
just we don't
Yeah.
know what the fuck really happens though. We're just guessing. Maybe you do die, but maybe it's like something that's happening on a way different scale. That's like. Yeah,
Like,
on an
it's
atomic
so-
level, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying, and a fucking quantum level, it's like you don't really
Well,
know.
I took it as the reason why he didn't die is because they placed the Tesseract into that black hole.
I mean, the thing is, it's like you said, it's up to artistic expression, you know.
Yeah,
So if
like
you want to
humanity, like if like the way it is like humanity was in control. The future humanity was in control of that black hole the whole time.
He used the black hole as a means to kind of like
Yeah.
play with 4D space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know.
You
That's
never
kind of
really,
why.
5D space.
Was it
No.
five?
No, they were 5-dimensional beings.
Yeah,
They
I
just
think
threw
the fact
him
that
in
They
a-
were able to like fold a
Oh,
4-dimensional
okay, yeah,
space into a
yeah,
3-dimensional space. You
yeah.
have to be a
They're
5-dimensional
actually
being.
even higher than that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's kind of why like it kind of goes a little like a bit lower on my list because I was kind of expecting like a little bit more for it to be a little bit more grounded. Like it seems a little bit too
really.
like
I thought they grounded it really well. Actually,
I mean, it wasn't-
considering the subject.
Yeah,
Sure,
I mean, I guess it
but
was
I mean,
grounded
it is-
enough for the character to know what he needed to do, which is kind of like realistic
Well, it was
in a
kind
way.
of their goal.
It's like they don't need
Yeah.
to fucking fully explain. I feel like the visuals explain enough. Like
Sure, but I
what's
mean,
actually
you know,
going on, it's
I
Isn't
don't
it
know, it's a
crazy
little
that
too
there's
out there for
actually
me.
just straight up aliens involved in Interstellar, but you just never fucking see them?
Well, they're not aliens. They're
They're the
people.
future.
They're,
Future
it's
humans.
humanity evolved to the fifth dimension. I mean, technically, yeah, they would be aliens to us now.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I mean,
like-
yeah, beings.
We've evolved into
Well,
other
I guess it
beings.
wasn't really established that they were actually the future humans, is it?
I don't think
he,
it
he
is.
says it.
It is, yes.
Yeah,
it's
he
totally-
says it.
that's
He
what
says
it
it's
is,
us.
Okay.
He says,
that's
not
what it is.
now,
It's
in the
literally-
future.
Yeah, it's like basically humans that
But
open
they ain't
up.
gonna get there unless they. Go.
Yeah, they use the fifth dimension to slip through time and open up that wormhole.
Yeah, it's
for-
basically like a multi-dimensional type of theory, right? So basically, it's like, you know, a possible future of of humans of like in the future, and they're opening up this portal of this reality that we're living in,
Yeah.
and to make that reality that they're living in, I guess, like possible. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They knew that they had to help themselves, like help us to help get where they needed
Yeah.
to. Like that was part of their history that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Like obviously, there's
Which
like
is
there are
interesting.
different possibilities
Yeah.
with the Tesseract. You can also obviously like see it, you know, like visual, that there's like all sorts of different possibilities happening in front of you, and you kind of like choose one that you want to happen. And that's kind of what they did, is that they chose like a certain possibility that they wanted to happen, and then like, you know, planted the wormhole, planted the you know, the black hole, or the Tesseract in the black hole or whatever, and like that's kind of like how it plays out. It's like, you know,
Which is kind of
people say, well, yeah, it's basically just like a loop. You know, how did they fucking like? How did we even get to that point?
Yeah, how
in the
did the
future? But
original
no, it's
humans
actually
actually
coming
get
from an abstract point where it's like, you know, humans in a possible future that are planting this fucking seed, you know, for this possible future. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like I was saying, it was just like now, like to get where they are, we would need that information about what's beyond the event horizon of a black hole.
So basically, time isn't linear. It's more of like a
No,
tapestry. of, like,
definitely
Yeah.
not. If you watch the making of the Tesseract scene, the way they're even visualizing it is that like every layer of what's happening, like you see like obviously like her Murph's room,
yeah.
and you see like what's happening, but there's something slightly different happening each layer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a different possibility of what's happening in every like cube or whatever. You know what
I
I'm
thought it
saying?
was every moment in time, not a possibility.
Well, I guess that's the way the quantum physics works. I don't
So,
know. I
like,
don't know.
so
exactly
basically,
what it is,
Matthew McConaughey's character, he didn't actually like save. He just kind of picked and choose the possibility. So he just kind of transferred into like another reality where he was able to save humanity.
yeah.
But like whatever possibility that he escaped from, they were kind of fucked.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
if
course.
You,
That's exactly
if
true.
you,
I mean,
if you
it's-
want to like get into the science of it, there's literally a book by Kip Thorne written about the science.
And
of
Michio Kaku has
Interstellar.
written books.
It's called
about
The
it, too.
Science of Interstellar. It's a book.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds.
Yeah, it's actually like go delve.
Because I thought it was all just time related, not reality, different reality based.
Well, I mean, time and reality is the same kind of like fabric, really. I mean,
Yeah, I
looks
mean,
like-
it's different.
Well,
no,
I mean,
it's-
it
time
depends on how
could
you
be, time
look
could
at
be
it. Like,
linear.
yeah,
but
time-
like, you know,
if you think time of being
there's
linear,
like
right?
obviously like, you know, the way they're depicting it is that like, you know, there could be multiple layers of like, you know, you kind of like there's different like a tree or roots, you know, of different
Yeah.
realities. that
because
you
I
can
didn't
kinda choose
think he
from.
abandoned one reality to save another. I thought he just used the fabric of the Tesseract's time to help send messages through the past.
Yeah, it
that
almost,
was his goal.
Yeah, right. Not venture into an alternate reality where one Earth is fucked. And
I would
the
say
other
that
one
the
is,
movie
No,
definitely.
that's not part of the. Yeah, he.
I would say the
his
movie
goal is
definitely
to make
portrayed the way that
space
you're
consider-
describing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I mean,
Because
this
it was
movie-
dealing
this
with gravity
movie-
and time, not alternate dimensions.
Right.
That's the kind of the really good thing about this movie. That's why it actually makes my top list, is because it actually opens up so many fucking possibilities.
Yeah.
Scientifically, like even the scientific community is like, you know, looking into this, like the theories that this movie brings to light, you know, by Kip Thorne and shit. And it's like, it's actually like really like just I don't know. You
And
just watch
even after that movie, they started looking even more closely for, and we discovered gravitational waves for the first time after the movie.
Yeah, even the visualizations like that actually been able to depict with like a black hole. Like we've never actually been able to predict or depict them with that level of accuracy before. Like the level of accuracy that they actually got it with Interstellar is the closest that we've ever gotten to actually. Depicting a black hole. Like there's nothing that even comes close. I think how many terabytes of data did they say that the black hole was? Is it gargantua?
Oh man, I don't know. It was
fucking
insane.
Thousands of terabytes or some shit. Yeah, it's like fucking crazy. But we probably need to move on to the next movie because we're already 35 minutes in.
Oh, see, this stuff is easy.
I know.
All right, Inception.
Inception.
Inception. Yeah.
Yeah, we were already talking about Inception a little bit.
But, I remember.
So I remember, for me, we
actually weren't very hyped about this movie.
Man,
actually.
I was.
I feel like I was pretty hyped.
I was not hyped at all for this movie. I remember seeing.
Well, Inception was the start of the rise of Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Batman Begins was. Batman Begins was.
But Batman Begins.
Dark Knight, yeah.
But Batman Begins.
Yeah,
it was still all superhero movies, though. Like
no, he wasn't actually. He was. He came out with about 3-4 other movies.
I mean, you had Memento, really.
Okay, Memento. Then he had Batman Begins. Then he had Insomnia, and then he had
Insomnia,
and then he had.
But do you really off the top of your head? Do you just remember that Christopher Nolan did?
Yeah, he also had The Prestige.
Oh, he did have The Prestige as well. And, God damn.
Yeah, that was the movie that he came out with right before Dark Knight.
Yeah.
This was actually the movie. You guys mentioned Interstellar. That was the movie that you hyped up and met your expectation. This for me was the movie for me that I was I was basically strapping into the seat, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait. And
but you see, it's like Inception was the start of the Christopher Nolan's artsy shit. Because Memento was artsy, but that was his.
It was a little bit more indie.
Yeah, it was way more indie than anything else was.
Low budget indie.
And then you had you had Batman superhero movie. Everybody was gonna love that anyway.
Yeah.
Then you had Insomnia, which was a remake.
Yeah.
Then you had Prestige and. I'm pretty sure everyone forgets Christopher Nolan did The Prestige.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Man, The Prestige was so good.
The Prestige was amazing, and then we got Inception, and they kept that
It's so crazy that in between each Batman movie, he made his own original movie. It's almost like that was part of the deal with Warner Brothers, that he actually I'll do the Batman movies. Don't get me wrong, but I'll only do it if you guys fund my movies in between each Batman movie. And he's like, oh, okay, all right.
You're okay,
Christopher Nolan. Better and better every time. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, well maybe we should pump a little bit more money. And then I got to Inception, which was the movie that came out right after Dark Knight.
Right.
And it was like, dude, that movie, I think, in my opinion, is Christopher Nolan's best movie.
Yeah, this movie maybe not quite as much of a masterpiece in my eyes as Blade Runner, but this movie is so well done. I have absolutely no complaints.
Oh yeah.
The only minor complaint, it's not even a complaint. It's more I don't even know if it's a nitpick. It's the dialogue was a little too perfect that people wouldn't really talk that way. They wouldn't be that good.
Yeah.
especially talking about because it had to be perfect because no one would even understand the movie way less than what they actually did.
Yeah. Man, Inception, I remember, here's the crazy thing. I remember walking out of Inception and understanding it perfectly.
Yeah.
I didn't have any freaking problems understanding what the fuck he brought. But it might have been because I seen his other movies and I understood where he was coming from as a director and a storyteller. But
were there people that dude didn't get it? Or?
Yeah.
Especially the end.
Dude, there's people that don't understand fucking
anything about anything. Yeah. Even about their own dreams or some shit.
Yeah, dude. I remember that we our boss at the time. We were working for a wedding videography company. Our boss. In fact, I'll even call him out right now. The fucking Rizwan Coker, dude. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He was fucking saying that that fucking oh, I don't like that movie. It's just unrelatable. I was like, what the fuck do you even mean? How the fuck can you not relate to this movie? You dream, right? Do you not understand how the levels of dreams work? You know, like these certain things, like I feel like this movie perfectly, like, illustrates the dreaming process and like how it actually works. Because we've all had like different layers of dreams for sure, and you know, we've all like.
I wouldn't know. I don't remember any of them.
The kick is like.
Oh, I know the kick. The kick is real.
Yeah, the kick is real, and all these things like really fucking, you know.
I had a strange kick one time. I woke up and I couldn't even stop myself. Like, my body was still in dream mode. I woke up and my hand was in the air, and I was like, "What are you doing, hand?" And then all of a sudden, it just came down and slapped Julie like right on the side. I was just like, "Why did I do that?"
Yeah. So there's this concept about in this movie that like really resonated with me, and how like the more you try to like kind of be self-aware in your dream, the more hostile like your dream gets.
Yeah.
I remember having this lucid dream where I went into this store.
This is what I'm talking about, by the way.
You can't lucid
All
dream.
of us can relate to this dream.
Yeah.
Like,
You
this
can't
dream
lucid
storyline.
dream. No, just kidding.
Okay. I don't understand people that say that. Anyway, but like, so I walk into this jewelry store, and you know, being self-aware and everything, it's like, you know what? I'll go up to the clerk, and I'm like, you know what? I already know that you don't exist. This is all just a dream, and I know that you're not real. And all of a sudden, this clerk was like, "You're crazy. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You better get the fuck out of my store. Call police right now."
They didn't turn into the evil Ray where this run.
Fucking like.
Actually, shit.
With the fucking Cohen head
spoilers.
Wait, he didn't. Well, no, okay, let's take it back. He didn't turn into fucking Bilbo in the original.
I should be seeing it this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, you need to see
And 1917, hopefully.
Yeah, you need to fucking watch Rise of Skywalker and then sneak into 1917. Yeah. Actually, you probably need to watch 1917 and sneak into Rise of Skywalker. That's definitely 1917 is definitely a better movie than Rise of Skywalker.
Definitely.
We should actually do a whole.
I don't know. That's a pretty controversial statement, Brian.
Once we do the episode of Rise of Skywalker. Oh, wait, no. Once you see it, we need to do an episode on Rise of Skywalker because
and 1917.
Yeah, we have a lot to say about Rise of Skywalker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we still haven't. We got to do anything for Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy to guess what our opinion is of Rise of Skywalker.
No, it's not easy.
I did get.
I've been saying negative shit about it.
I mean, it's been so long. I've had like a couple little things spoiled.
Yeah, dude. I actually think Rise of Skywalker is a good movie.
No, I just spoil it, dude. Fuck. All right.
You didn't spoil. He didn't spoil nothing. He just said he thinks it's a good movie.
Dude, the thing is, I think it's a good movie.
I mean, I'm sure they've been hinting at that fucking evil Ray shit for so long. If she does a little thing, you know, what the fuck ever, that doesn't really hurt the movie. I kind of expected that.
It was definitely the worst part of the movie, but like it was not as near as bad.
Is it after she has that really lame like double-bladed lightsaber that?
Hey,
like,
why are we talking about?
She like do
talking
like
about Inception.
I know, but hold on, you left, and he's leaving again. But I would just when she in the trailer,
that's the same scene. It's the same scene. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know what to expect from that dumb, shitty.
Expect a little bit of cat shit, dude.
Cat shit.
Yeah.
Didn't we already get enough of that with cats?
Okay, I remember we talked about this earlier, but like I never walked out of the fucking theater. I don't know what it is about Christopher Nolan's movies, but like I always walk out of the theater with this guy freaking feeling like just completely rewarded and just like, man, this was like
the only
way beyond my expectations.
Yeah.
Except Dark Knight Rises.
I feel like I always fucking walk out of Christopher Nolan's movies with that feeling.
And
Denis Villeneuve too. But those two directors are fucking like, that's the only movies you walk out of the theater and you're just like, holy fuck, my mind is blown.
Inception though. I remember walking out of the theater and I was like, what?
I don't think I've been as like fucking blown away by any movie like getting out of the theater as Inception. I think the reason is I think I could have potentially been as blown away as other movies, but like I've hyped those fucking movies up so much. Like, you know, the only other movies I could compare are, you know, obviously the movies we mentioned, Blade Runner, Interstellar. Like, those are the only other two movies that would make me as blown away as Inception. But I actually wasn't even hyping up Inception at all. So it was a complete surprise. Like, oh, what the fuck? Like, this is like the best shit I've ever fucking seen. Yeah. And with Interstellar, you know, obviously, like, you know, I was hyping the fuck out. I was like, literally, like, I was thinking about it every day. But yeah, but with
But man, I remember seeing
Inception,
Inception.
complete surprise.
And like my feeling walking in the theater, even whenever I remember showing it to my dad, like whenever probably around 2014, like many years later after it came out, and I kind of got emotional, but just because of the storyline with like the father that died, and it's like I remember it was like really. I mean, I just moved out, so I was kind of like leaving my father behind, and like he. I don't know. It was really weird. I actually did get emotional because of like we watched this movie with my dad, and it really resonated with me. I don't know. There's nothing that will ever make me feel like that again, as far as like that connectivity. But like, even beyond that, though, I mean, just like the freaking masterful, the practice of this movie. I mean, just like with the revolving or the rotating set. I feel like so many movies have actually done that, but like, well, I mean, since then, but none of them have actually achieved the striking value of what they can do with it.
Yeah,
with 2001, that's where they kind of pioneered the whole like rotating set kind of thing. But with Inception, I mean, they introduced like an actual like action fight scene to that mix.
Yes, like in 2001, all they did was had the lady walk up the side of the room.
Well, they had also the guy kind of jogging and punching.
Yeah, but that was like there wasn't as much as a rotating hallway thing like that. That was like more of a subterfuge rather than a rotating room. Yeah. So they did that like the camera still stayed pretty much in like one spot and kind of just rolled as it
you
went.
Obviously, like whenever you're watching,
you said with Inception too.
Not the same.
It's not the same.
Not the same.
I mean, some scenes are like how they did the actual anti-gravity scenes are, well, no, not even that. Yeah, I mean, they obviously used rotating sets, but they used it in a different way, dude. Like, I mean, it was just way fucking different.
I mean, you still use wires,
like
right?
Whenever,
You still use the wires, right?
Yeah, but like with 2001, I felt like it was easier to tell what they did. Whenever you're watching it, it's like, okay, I can see what they did.
It was so difficult to see the anti-gravity going on.
And the thing is, they mixed anti-gravity with like
the dream.
Another level. Yeah, whenever they actually had the kick and like, or no, it was the fucking vehicle that was being tossed around.
Yeah,
and you actually had the center of gravity changing.
Yeah.
So that was being depicted, and then also like the zero gravity was being depicted too.
Yeah. So dope.
I mean, you never seen another fucking movie like that, but we have like about fucking 13 minutes left. So we gotta fucking start.
All right.
Okay.
We talk about Inception all day.
Why are you timing us, man?
I mean, we're at 48 minutes, so we gotta fucking.
I gotta go in about 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dunkirk is the next one that we all agreed on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, let's just skip this one.
Dunkirk, I loved the time moves. I loved it because I actually didn't know the first time I watched it that there were those time jumps.
I mean, I knew like that.
Well, I didn't do any research into like the story layout beforehand, and so I went into it.
What's crazy is that those time jumps actually just like play out. They work in a way that it actually plays out like an actual fucking story.
Yeah, it's edited. It's edited seamlessly because I didn't know that's what they were playing for the movie. I had no idea that was what was actually happening.
Yeah, no, that's how freaking effective that movie is.
Yeah,
it's not like they actually were just straight up changing the time fucking frame of the movie.
Yeah.
You don't even fucking know, but you're so immersed into what you're watching, and it's so successful. And like just like immersing you like into what's fucking happening that you don't even give a shit about like the timing of this. Oh, this is actually supposed to be happening a week earlier. Or some shit like that.
Weren't the boats like a week?
Yeah, the boats were a week. Oh no, hold on. The boats were the mole was a week, and then the what is it? The mole, and then it was the by sea. What was it again? There was the mole, the sea, and the air.
Yeah.
And the sea. Okay, so the sea was basically their traversal to. Like,
so a couple days. That was a couple days.
Okay, it was. Okay, here's what it was. It was 1 week, 1 day, and 1 hour. And the 1 hour was the aerial scenes.
Right.
Fucking aerial scenes. God damn, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, and then on the boots on the ground was a week.
Yeah.
And then sea, then air. Yeah.
Yeah, they like pioneered new equipment to shoot IMAX in the air, and it looks fucking fast.
Well, I mean, that's probably what the huge influence on what fucking Top Gun is doing now.
Oh yeah, it is definitely. I mean, they're shooting Top Gun because Dunkirk happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
they're shooting it the way they're shooting it because Dunkirk
Actually, which is crazy because, like, from what I'm seeing at least, they're actually taking the technology even further.
Yeah,
which is
I
like
agree.
really
Yeah.
cool. But Dunkirk is one that freaking originated.
Pioneered.
They pioneered this entire like kind of aerial combat
to this degree.
technique.
Yeah, it was the aerial combat in
shooting.
Dunkirk was
It's
awesome. Like, you just
phenomenal.
felt it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Because it was all real. All of it was real. That's what's fucking crazy about this movie. Even so they have like a freaking Heinkel bomber in the movie. I mean, I didn't even know this like going into it, but my dad was like, "Oh yeah, the Heinkel in the movie that we saw, that was none of those planes even exist." I was like, "What the fuck? How is that even possible?" Like they actually like had a 1/4 scale Heinkel bomber in the movie. It was like a miniature, and they filmed it up in the air, and
it was like an RC plane.
that was an RC plane, and they were actually able to play it off as full scale. I was like, "What the fuck? That's
fucking
crazy!"
nuts.
They just shot it, I guess, in slow motion.
Yeah, they showed. Yeah, you have to. Whenever you're shooting in slow motion, you actually have to shoot like the frame rate slower.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, depending on the scale of the plane.
Yeah, exactly.
If
If
it's
it's
a
a
fourth
fourth
scale,
scale,
you
yeah.
have to shoot it fourth the frame rate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so to make it look like it's moving, like, you know.
Like how it actually moves, yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's what they did. I was like, fuck, I didn't even know. I thought I was watching a real plane, you know, and it was like, no, none of those planes even exist. I thought it was, you know, most movies would do CG, but this movie actually went the fucking extra mile.
because they give Nolan the extra mile nowadays.
Yeah.
He's like one of the only directors they give him the mile for. I think there's like a list of like 10 directors they'll give the extra mile to.
You know what's crazy is that this fucking decade belongs to Nolan. Dude.
Yeah,
It
100%.
really does. I mean, we've already discussed like Interstellar, fucking Inception, and Dunkirk. 3
And then
movies.
also The Dark Knight Rises too was a fucking
Dark
awesome
Knight
movie.
Rises, yeah, which is another movie. That
I liked it, but I wouldn't even put it in my top 10.
I've watched
I would
it.
put it
I've
in my
watched
top
it
10, but
recently.
not my top 5.
I've rewatched it and it's fucking good, dude.
It is a
that
great
is
movie.
fucking amazing. And
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on my top 5. I would put it in my top 10, but not my top 5.
Yeah.
Really?
I'm not
for sure.
I mean, there's certain plot holes that if you forgive certain plot holes, like I could see that being pretty impactful. I mean, like a lot of scenes are like, you know, it's really well shot. The score is obviously like really good. It's just, you know, I just had certain problems with the movie. You know, maybe not at first. I walked out of the movie feeling like, man, this movie is just like a great.
Justice League was way better. No, just kidding.
No, I don't know about that. But like, it was. I mean, it's definitely got its like scenes where it's like it's a pretty good send off. But there were certain problems with like the actual like story structure of the movie. But like, I mean, it was, you know, it was pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought, you know.
yeah, no, I thought so too.
I like the ending. I like the way, I like the whole
Everything
thing.
wraps up well. I think, in my opinion, I think everything is perfect in The Dark Knight Rises. Like, I don't have really very many complaints about how it plays out.
Right.
I think Bane's character is, like, in a lot of ways even better than Joker. I think, you know, the whole...
I
the
agree with
whole
that.
chapter of the fucking story where, like, everything in Gotham just kind of goes to shit. Very well portrayed.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just like, it still kind of keeps that realistic tone, but even though it's kind of absurd.
Yeah, there's very absurd scenarios. Like,
yeah.
there's like people with guns, but whenever they face each other, they're all like doing melee.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
There's some the Dark Knight Rises definitely offered up some, like, really absurd kind of scenarios, but they actually executed them in a way that actually made them, like, digestible in a realistic realm.
For PG-13. Right?
Yeah, well, yeah. It doesn't even, I mean, talking about that, but I'm just talking about, like, from a story standpoint, you know?
I think Bane needed to be taken out a bit differently.
He need to be taken out a bit
Yeah.
differently?
Rather than being shot in the back by the bat cycle.
Doesn't even hear the bat cycle.
Yeah, he doesn't even hear it come in the fucking room after What's-Her-Face just leaves.
He has a fucking mask on. Of course he wouldn't.
Covering up his ears, dude.
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know.
Just like, I have to kill you now. Oh, there's a motorcycle in here.
He was too focused on his own hubris. That's what killed him right there. He was too focused.
He was sucking his own dick.
I'm about to kill you, Batman.
God, we're not even supposed to be talking about The Dark Knight Rises. We're supposed to be talking about Dunkirk.
Oh, yeah. God damn it.
All right, so let's move on to the next movie.
One small thing. I like there's like this World War One vet that like there was like a little small interview.
That was a World War II vet. Dude.
World War II vet. Sorry. But like
from Canada.
Yeah. And it's like, he talks about how actually they got it right with this movie. It actually made him feel like
he was back.
Like he was back.
Yeah.
And it's just like
he had a heart attack. He was like on the stretcher. Like, they get it right.
You just see him wheeled in the ambulance, and you just see.
Oh my god!
I can only imagine how like validated Nolan must have felt. Like, you probably saw that interview, right?
Yeah,
So
of
it's
course he did. If he saw it, he saw it.
Yeah. It's like, damn.
Somebody CC'd him that in that email, dude.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He fucking did it, dude. He fucking made it work.
All right. Number 5s, which are semi-different.
Well, I guess I'll start off with mine. It's Arrival. So, yeah, I thought this movie... I mean, the thing is, like, I actually watched this movie after I had seen Blade Runner 2049, and I just wanted to check out more movies by Denis Villeneuve, and, yeah, I just basically watched Arrival, which was his previous movie before that. And it was just fucking
lived up.
Yeah, literally, like I had no idea it was gonna be that good. Like I remember watching the trailers, like it looks pretty interesting, but like
I thought it was gonna be like Independence Day, dude.
I mean, I felt
That's
like
what I thought
it was
when I
gonna
watched the
kind of
trailers.
be like Independence Day, but a little bit better,
Yeah,
like or
but
a little
like-
bit different, which it was
yeah.
a little bit different, but
This
way
movie was
different actually.
way more like cerebral and like
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was a very cerebral movie.
It even handled the mystique a lot better than Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
dude, the fucking way that this movie, there's 2 scenes that stand out to me. Or actually 3. There's one, the freaking one where they actually enter the freaking shaft and they go up and they actually see the thing. That scene is like really intense.
And then fucking faint and pass out because it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's like fuck. You're actually like encountering alien life and shit. And then
You feel like you're there.
That scene.
You feel like you're
pays
actually
off
about
for
to
sure.
encounter like the aliens.
And there's a second scene, and it's random as fuck in the movie. But you just see like the aliens like in this room and shit. It's like, remember that shit?
Yeah, I remember.
That scene fucking stood out to me too. Even though it's like kind of like out of nowhere and shit. But then there's the third part of the movie where like the whole time travel element is really explored and executed.
Yeah.
Very freaking.
The reveal was very well done.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Like I was like, oh shit. You know what's fucking crazy though is that a lot of people watch this fucking movie and they just
don't even know what
fucking
the
get
fuck
it.
is going
They
on.
don't know what's going
Yeah.
on, dude. It's like, what you what's going on?
Yeah, literally, like you'll be surprised because we had to explain to somebody who we actually showed the movie to. We thought they were gonna love it, but they were just like, I just didn't get it at all, man. I just did not understand anything
like,
that is watching.
that was actually,
we literally
like-
had to explain to them. Whenever this happened, it was foreshadowing this.
Yeah, and that part was actually the past. He was experiencing like
Yeah.
majority.
Yeah. So.
Or
Yeah.
was this the whole phone call thing? You
Right,
know,
right.
it's like
And
dude,
phone
they just,
calls,
did,
yeah.
they just didn't get it. I was like, dude, how can you not get it? It's like I feel like it's spelled out to you so clearly, but you
Yeah.
know, like I feel like you have to be of a certain kind of intellect to kind of like tap into that movie, which kind of makes it feel like a certain like gentleman's club kind of movie.
Right.
Which is maybe one of the kind of things that makes me like it more. You know, it's like, but at the same time, it's like, maybe it's a fault of the movie. Actually, who knows?
Well, I mean, for me, it's not a fault. I mean, I fucking watched it and I fucking
I got
loved
it.
it, and
I
like,
got it.
yeah,
I mean,
got
if
it.
you're
I didn't
playing the
even
numbers
think-
game, maybe it is a fault. But like, I mean, I feel like if we got it, like, I think.
Yeah, we got it. It's like it literally like I don't care if like somebody just didn't understand what the fuck they even watched. Like I mean, I watched it and I was like, oh shit, I haven't. Like,
Yeah.
it literally made me feel the same way as watching or playing like Metal Gear Solid 1 for the first time. You know what I'm like? I literally was just thinking about it like for days afterward. You know what I'm saying? It's like damn, like just really like thinking about how fucking impactful it was.
Whenever the reveal happened, my hairs were standing on end, dude. Like, I mean, the way that it was portraying like events, how like, okay, wait, she's already divorced the father.
Yeah, and she doesn't even know the father, but then
Yeah.
she like she knows who the father is at the end, and then
Right.
then it's like, okay, well, like, she already has feelings for this person, so it's easier for her to actually fall for him even more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then whenever they're back together in the present day, it's like they're not really like a couple yet. So like they're having that sort of dynamic where they're just kind of partners.
Mm-hmm.
You know
what's really crazy is that like she never even had these types of feelings before until she actually encountered or became within a certain proximity of the aliens. So it's like it already started kind of playing into that, like where she already started getting these kind of not even flashbacks, but kind of flash forwards. You know what I'm saying? And like it only happened as she started actually approaching the aliens, and then like the more and more she interacted with them, she learned their language, and then she started kind of like getting. I guess it kind of opens up those neural pathways where you just start thinking like an alien,
or in alien language.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of the same.
Which is time.
The deciphering of the alien language is very, very.
In their case, their language is time, basically.
So they're able to manipulate time in their language. So it's like. They don't really see time the same way that humans
do. The whole circle kind of aspect of it. It's circular. It's time. You can manipulate anything. With certain.
I don't know. I feel like this movie's kind of moving up a little bit on the slot for me. Like shit.
Yeah. So what was your top or your fifth movie?
Definitely, I Saw the Devil.
Oh, I saw the devil.
It's very.
I didn't see the devil.
You didn't see the devil?
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
I bought the Blu-ray from you.
I saw the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's fucking right.
What?
I bought the Blu-ray from them.
Yeah.
They had it, and they were like, "We have it, but we haven't watched it." I'm like, "I'll buy it."
Oh fuck!
But then we actually watched maybe 25% of it.
You didn't finish it?
To the part.
It's so good.
We saw the part where he finds his wife's head in the fucking ditch.
That's really as far as you got.
That's not even. Yeah, you guys.
Oh my gosh!
That movie was so fucking disgusting and disturbing.
It was so gross, but I love it.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
What was the movie? The Chaser? Was that the other Korean movie that was like a kind of a horror movie with some fucking kind of similar in a way, but not really.
They got so many good ones.
Korean cinemas.
But I remember
Korean cinema's top notch. I don't see a movie I don't like.
I Saw the Devil is what is it? The Chaser, but expanded upon
and even darker.
Yeah,
even darker.
Yeah,
and just it's just weird.
The Chaser was really good. I like The Chaser.
My girlfriend at the time actually saw The Chaser, and she was extremely disturbed by it. She just fucking she liked it, but she hated it, and she just especially since it was shows the weakness of women and stuff like that, and just how easy it is for a man to overpower her or something, whatever. But I remember I was thinking man, I just don't want her to see fucking I Saw the Devil.
Yeah.
That movie is fucking it even fucking terrified me. You know what I'm saying?
So
dude, that's probably the reason why we didn't even watch it. Dude. I remember watching the first maybe
it's so good. Yeah, it's really fucked up the way he kills that dude's wife or fiance. It's so. Then after that, he
there's a point in the movie. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it in case you guys are gonna watch it later, but there's a point in the movie. It's oh, okay, we're at this point. Okay, at this point in the movie. But then I look at the time, at the little bar right there, and you're only maybe 35 minutes in the movie. It's wait, this is supposed to be the ending. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen after that? Then it just keeps going. It gets more and more intense.
Essentially, what he does is he tracks the guy down, bugs him, beats the shit out of him, and then lets him go. And then when it goes to do his thing again, he tracks him down, beats the shit out of him again, and lets him go. He'll even get his wounds healed up and stuff like that, bandage him up and stuff like that, and then he'll wake up in the serial killer will wake up in a parked car in the middle of the parking lot.
He didn't just beat him.
Yeah.
Cuts him.
Yeah, cuts his Achilles tendon, everything like that.
Don't fucking spoil the goddamn movie.
It's been 10 years. Watch the damn movie.
Alright, so your number 5.
My number 5? I would say Arrival.
I want to watch this movie. Okay, don't spoil the fucking.
I would say Arrival with
especially after tonight.
I Saw the Devil as a very close
You abandoned me.
Oh, that was yours?
Arrival is my number 5, but I Saw the Devil was very, very close.
Okay.
Very, very close.
So that was it.
What was your number 5?
Arrival.
Okay.
I guess
My number
okay, wait,
five
hold
was,
on. Your number 5 was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, dude. I fucking love that movie so fucking much. You haven't seen
I
it?
haven't seen it.
Oh my god.
No,
Dude,
yeah,
it's such a fucking fun movie, dude.
It is, yeah.
This movie is fun. It's fucking like the dialogue and the fucking character interactions. I mean, Quentin Tarantino. I mean,
Definitely a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Oh, yeah.
I would say like on par with like Inception, like the dialogue.
Yeah, I don't think so, but like it's not even comparable to Inception.
I mean the quality of the dialogue.
I mean, of course, it's Quentin Tarantino. He's like a master of dialogue. Like that's literally like if anything, if all else fails, he has his dialogue. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I think it might like.
How the fuck can you be so masterful at dialogue like Quentin Tarantino?
Dialogue is so hard to write.
Yeah, dude. I mean, just like there's actually no director that I've ever fucking experienced that writes dialogue like Quentin Tarantino.
He's got it down.
He could write a 3-hour. He wrote a movie.
He's getting better as he goes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
The dialogue
he might be old now, but he's fucking
it's
fucking knocking it
the
out.
first hour and a half of Hateful Eight is nothing but talking. It is all just dialogue.
But it's interesting as fuck.
Yeah. You're engrossed in the entire time. You watch Netflix.
Oh, it's the same thing with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but it's actually like fucking. I think it's better actually.
They released on Netflix a 4-hour long cut of whatchamacallit. What is it? Hateful Eight.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's 4 hours.
Oh really?
It's separated by 1 hour apiece.
I thought they. I didn't know they already released it. I didn't know they already released it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's
a long
2
cut of-
hours.
There's already a long cut of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're talking about releasing a 4-hour.
Yeah, they're
long
talking
cut of
about
this
doing
one.
the 4-hour
So
one. Yeah.
I want to see that shit.
Yeah.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the theatrical release alone is really fucking good. I remember laughing, and smiling the entire.
Yeah, I felt like I
movie.
remember smiling the entire fucking movie.
It was just so fun. Like I've never even been into a movie where I've just been like, God, this fucking movie is fucking wacky. It's fucking like, it's just so crazy and like it's just like. It makes you feel good, you know.
It makes you feel good all inside.
It makes you feel good in an edgy way, though, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
straight up
does
make you
it's
feel
not
good.
corny at all. I mean, sure, there's some corny shit.
I think the only exception
like,
is Sharon Tate's scene whenever she goes to the movie theater.
Yeah, that was
a little
whatever, dude. That's like a minor fucking part of the movie.
Yeah.
But like with you know the main characters with like you know freaking
Damn it.
with
Shouldn't talk shit. I guess
with you know Cliff Booth, that character.
That's Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, that's freaking
It's
Brad
bugging.
Pitt's
I'm gonna
character.
fix it.
He's
it's bugging the fuck out of me.
He's like so good in this movie. Cliff Booth. I mean, he actually beats Bruce Lee, which I know a lot of people.
Very controversial, but
very,
like
very controversial.
really
but
crooked.
like, you know, it's like a lot of people don't understand that. You know,
crooked, not falling off.
a lot of people don't understand that Bruce Lee has been dead for fucking 40,
it's full of
50
demonetization,
years.
dude.
Yeah.
Dude, the thing is, you know, this fucking like
I
Bruce
feel like
Lee's-
this movie actually represents Bruce Lee in the fucking
like his actual
accurate light.
in his
dude.
true form.
Yes.
Okay,
He was a very cocky fucking guy.
What's really
And I come from a fucking dude. Bruce Lee was like literally my idol.
Yeah.
From like age 13 to like probably
29.
Yeah,
29.
Dude, I fucking worship this guy.
Yeah.
Me and Brian even had a fucking like shrine in our fucking room.
yeah, that's right.
to
You
Bruce
Like
Lee.
with the incense and shit.
Yeah,
Oh
dude,
my
I'm not-
God.
I'm not
Jesus
even-
Christ,
I'm not even joking.
John, why did you have to say that, dude? No.
I'm just trying to. Yeah.
Well, if anything, gives you more credentials.
Well, yeah, but like I feel like all these people that are just fucking, you know, they fucking. You know,
The guy got thrown into a car.
So what? Bruce Lee fucking.
He's not a
dealt with
perfect. He's not a
worship.
perfect guy.
No. What I'm saying, he got thrown into a car and he fucking got back up.
Yeah, dude. The thing is, like, Bruce Lee wasn't a fucking perfect guy. Like, literally, there was actually a film of him actually in a real fight on the beach, and he fucking destroyed the fucking film as soon as that fight actually had. He won the fight, but he didn't want anybody to ever see it because he basically just. It wasn't like a perfect fucking fight where he just beat the shit out of the guy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he got fucking like knocked around a bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And,
I think like
dude, he was a human being. He was not a god.
I think
people that fucking think that Bruce Lee was a god and just untouchable, like those are the people that fucking hate the way he was depicted in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have been satisfied unless he just fucking looked at fucking Cliff and just like killed him on the spot.
Yeah, and a lot of people like treat this fucking movie as if like Bruce Lee's actually in it. It's like, dude, it's an actor fucking portraying Bruce Lee
in the most realistic way possible.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. In the most realistic way possible. And Bruce Lee is like a fucking he in this movie he is a plot point. Mm-hmm. He's not a actual like, oh, we gotta respect his fucking the contributions to the
I feel like people are respecting his character. Like it's like a fictional character that people are worshiping now at this point, and not the actual man.
Well, it is. It actually is, dude. Like people are like see this guy. I mean, they literally see him as like a dragon and shit.
Yeah, dude. If you watch any documentary from the 90s and 2000s, like they literally depict him like he is a fucking god.
This guy had really good genes.
Yeah,
but whatever. He wasn't perfect though.
Yeah,
he had really good combat and
he obviously genes. Had some of the best fast twitch muscles in the fucking
the
world. You know? yeah, but like it's
he might have indirectly like influenced the entire MMA fucking sport.
Yeah,
but like at the end of the day, like he was a human being and he could be defeated. Like I mean. I guarantee you that
he wasn't even necessarily like defeated in the movie. They played it off like they were going to go for like another round.
You know what's crazy is that Bruce Lee never even fucking fought competitively. If he did, then maybe they would have had like more say. But like, dude, the guy was kind of just in the movies, dude.
Yeah,
he was just like portrayed as like this fucking
dude. Even if you listen to like interviews of people that talk about Bruce Lee on set, I mean, they say that he was extremely cocky. He would challenge people on set. And, I mean, I kind of see something like this actually happening in real life, that, somebody who's that cocky. And the things you have to think, this movie is him fighting a fictional character who's fucking like some fucking crazy ass fucking dude. If you actually, I don't want to spoil the movie, but Brad Pitt's character is fucking like there's even a scene whenever they describe Brad Pitt's character to fucking Bruce Lee. He's like, who the fuck is this guy, And he's like, oh yeah, this guy fucking like blah blah blah. And he's like, oh shit, really? It's like he's like fucking scared as fuck after like he learns about who this guy is and shit. Yeah. And then it's like that's how like Brad Pitt's character is.
Brad
Pitt's character is in the movie. It's like fucking. He plays a pretty menacing character, and he's a fucked up character and shit.
Yeah, he's a fucking
he's a loose cannon.
A fucking psycho.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking psycho loose cannon that will like fucking murder you if he wants to, dude. I mean, I feel like the ending of the movie wouldn't work unless they fucking like showed you how freaking like just kind of menacing Brad Pitt's character was in this movie. Mm-hmm. But it worked at the end. I don't know. It pays off. And,
apparently there's going to be more Bruce Lee scenes in the 4-hour cut or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I hope the 4-hour cut
does a little bit more justice.
Just a little more justice to the Bruce Lee character.
Yeah, but, the legend, the myth of Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it does. I'm pretty sure a lot of that got cut out, and that's why a lot of people are upset. My Bruce Lee fucking fandom is like.
The thing is, actually, later in the movie, even though there's like a few shots of him training like Sharon Tate, like those shots are fucking awesome, and they're like, oh shit, he's like training Hollywood actors, and like, he is a legend in that way.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah. I know. It's
he brought fucking like.
It definitely shows him in a very positive light after that.
Yeah, no, it actually redeems him. Like,
it's the most like it's not the most real. I mean, actually, it might be the most realistic depiction of him if you actually.
I think it actually is.
If you listen to what people actually say about him, like
which
even the people that were the closest to him in documentaries, you'll know that like this is what Bruce Lee actually was.
Me and you have actually seen like. Fucking infinite amount of documentaries about this guy, and we actually know who he was, and like this movie actually depicts him like
the way they described him, perfectly,
like more so than any other freaking movie.
Yeah,
like,
people
like,
wanna-
for instance, like the movie that they came out with in the early '90s, like what was it called? Dragon, the Bruce Lee story.
Mm-hmm.
It was just depict him as like this undefeatable fucking guy
That it doesn't ever get hit or some
Yeah,
shit.
never
You know?
get hit, I mean,
Yeah, and then the way he's depicted in It Man and shit, it's like he's like
even
he's-
more
he's-
so. He's
yeah.
just like, well, we gotta respect this guy as a god. And then Quentin Tarantino comes along. It's like, I'm gonna depict this guy the way he actually was.
Yeah.
And then people have a fucking problem with it. It's like, wait, hold on a second. You guys don't even understand that, like, Bruce Lee was an actual guy. He wasn't a god. He was an actual guy that actually was cocky as fuck and, like...
I mean, compared to the average human, he did pretty fucking good in that
Yeah,
movie.
No. The thing is,
It's
like,
just
yeah, exactly. But like, I feel like the only people who really had a problem with the way that he was depicted in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood were people that really had to benefit from like even fiscally from like the what Bruce Lee had to like basically gave them. You know what I'm saying? Like his daughter.
Yeah.
Like people like John Little, who like owns the rights to fucking Bruce Lee, and like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like people who owe their fucking careers to Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
people that owe their careers to Bruce Lee definitely spoke out against this fucking movie.
Yeah.
But it's like anybody else goes, that's how it actually
It's
was.
been 40 years. Have you forgotten what he was actually like?
Yeah, I know. I guess
I
they
feel like-
want to listen to or they want to believe just the legend of Bruce Lee. That's all they want to remember.
This movie does nothing to diminish what Bruce Lee was, to be honest with you. It actually like brings to
I
light
agree.
who he
100%.
actually was. And whether or not you like want to like fucking just dismiss that, whatever, it's up to you, dude. But like that's who he was. And like I've lived the research, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I know that, dude. Everybody's like,
just watch any documentary about him.
just watch the documentary about him from the fucking 90s or whatever. You know, it's like
from the 90s or 2000s. You know,
they're gonna tell you exactly what the fuck this guy was and whatever. But anyway, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in general. Outside of that, which is actually, Bruce Lee's involvement in that movie was actually like a pretty small thing. But even aside
But
from
you've
that,
talked about it the
but-
most
no,
for
the
the
thing is,
entire
it was-
last like
because it was the
15
most
minutes.
controversial fucking aspect of the movie.
Right.
You know what? Isn't it kind of crazy that with this movie, everybody thought it was like the whole controversy surrounding this movie was actually going to be like regarding Charles Manson, but actually ended up being regarding
kinda
Bruce
fucked
Lee
up.
and shit. And I
fucked
don't
up,
know.
dude.
Like,
it was such a small scene too.
it was such a small scene. It was like,
You even had fucking Bruce Lee's daughter fucking coming out. It was like, dude,
Bruce Lee
like,
fucking... Dude, they actually got this movie banned in China.
Yeah.
That's
Actually
fucking
got
insane.
this
really?
movie banned in China
didn't know
because
that.
Bruce Lee's
Oh my
daughter was
God.
like... couldn't stand the fact that they depicted her dad in a realistic fucking light. I was like, dude...
That's
fucking
that's
shut
exactly
the
what I'm
fuck
saying.
up.
It's like literally Shannon Lee is literally fucking like she's one of these people that are just like riding off her dad's coattails.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? It's
All
like
these- all these people
what has
that-
she fucking done? Like she hasn't fucking actually worked for anything. Like
Yeah.
she's just literally like, I'm
Wait,
I'm
Shannon
Bruce
Lee
Lee's
the wife or is that the
no,
daughter?
it's the daughter. She's
Yeah.
I'm Bruce Lee's daughter. You know, I'm
She's
fucking,
basically the one in charge of his estate, basically.
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Or like his, yeah. And she is like fucking...
Yeah, I think John Little owns his like likeness, and Shannon Lee
What
owns
a
the
weird
estate or
thing.
whatever. Yeah, it's
Imagine like having your dad like some guy they own their likeness.
yeah.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people are like, I don't agree with the way he was depicted in this movie. Well, fuck you, dude. I don't know. I don't know. It's like, this is actually the way he was. Like, just look, like you said, watch any documentary about this guy. He was a fucking cocky-ass motherfucker who thought he could beat anybody on the fucking planet. You know, he was actually talking about going up against freaking,
Cassius Clay? Cassius Clay.
I don't know about that.
He
but
did
like-
talk about that.
That's what the movie is about. I
No,
remember.
I'm talking about the boxer, Muhammad Ali. He was actually going to go against Muhammad Ali. I was like, dude, you know,
I would pay to go back in time to see that fight.
Yeah, no. Well, it was actually gonna happen, but he died.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Who knows?
Goddamn it.
That would be pretty interesting.
So we've gone through our top 5
Now, quick.
freaking movies.
Next top 5.
Huh?
From 6 to 10. Just quick.
Okay.
Quick? I
Me.
don't even have.
Mandy, Hereditary, Snowpiercer, and Hateful Eight. And then Train to Busan.
I don't even know what's on my next 5. I think it's Hateful Eight. Freaking, I think Joker's on there. I think I don't know.
What the fuck are you?
Actually, I think
basically.
Joker. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, why the fuck wasn't that on the list? Like,
Joker's good.
I wouldn't put Joker in my top 10.
I put it in my top.
I
10
did
for
like
sure.
it, but I wouldn't put it top 10.
Rise of Skywalker. I was joking. No, I wouldn't put that.
It was The Irishman.
I didn't see that. Maybe it could be on my top 10.
It's so long and grueling, but I
I
love
definitely
it.
want to watch The Lighthouse.
I want to watch The
I don't
Lighthouse
know.
too.
I can tell that Lighthouse wouldn't be in my top 10. Probably not even my
But,
top 10.
might be for
we should
me.
go to wrap it up.
Yeah.
For the first episode. Hopefully you guys like this episode of the show.
The new Junkers podcast.
This is Junkers and calling out.
Be sure to like and subscribe, please.
Yeah, please.